Hey everyone, I hit Master Rank on stream today. We were streaming the European International Challenge, and I felt like I should do a deck profile over the deck that got me here, because I did pivot off the Future deck to the Roaring Moon deck, and it's pretty awesome. So, going straight into the deck profile, we are running 4 Baby Roaring Moon. For 2 energy, it does 70 plus 10 for every ancient card in your discard pile, and the magic number is 110. At 110, you can one-hit KO Iron Crowns, as they're actually weak to it. For Mew EX, a popular card you may see in some decks for draw, you just have to have 2, hit 90. But the other thing is, if this can get a 2-hit KO of hit 130, hit 130, or hit 150, 150, something, you're still going even with price trade, as this thing's only worth 1 price. So running 4 of that, running 3 of Roaring Moon EX. For 3 energy, you either do 100 plus 120 for 220, discarding a stadium, or you can use 3 to use Frenzied Gouging and just instantly knock out your opponent. Now, Frenzied Gouging has a lot of extra hidden benefits, like Heavy Baton only works on Iron Hands if it's knocked out by damage from an attack. So Frenzied Gouging actually goes through the Heavy Baton. But more importantly, is you're playing a very aggressive deck, so you're okay with cards going in the discard piles that does power up the Baby Ancient Roaring Moon, but if I'm taking the initial attack of hitting you to take 2 prize cards with Frenzied Gouging, and then you take me out with like a 30 damage HP Pokemon, I'm still ahead on the prize trade as I'm taking the prizes first. So it can be secretly one of the main attacker of the deck, but really you want to rely on Baby Moon where possible. For support, we're running 1 Radiant Greninja, where we're discarding an energy to draw 2. Helps get the energies in the discard pile to power up Dark Patch and Professor Sada's Vitality. And we're running 3 Dunsparce with 2 Dunsparce. Now, the Dunsparce has the ability, draw 3, shuffle it in the deck. It's even more powerful than that, because you don't have to use it whenever you put it in play. So sometimes just putting a Dunsparce on the board and not using the ability to set it up for next turn, it's protection against Iono, and it's protection against Roxanne, and other cards to manipulate your hand. Another hidden pro is you can bring the Dunsparce active if they knock out your active, use your Dark Patches, and then shuffle the Dunsparce into the deck to be able to promote your Pokemon without using a switching card or retreating or anything like that. So the Dunsparce is really clutch, and the reason we're only running 2 instead of 3 is if you have 2 benched Dunsparce, you can shuffle in a Dunsparce, draw the same Dunsparce through other means, and evolve the second Dunsparce with the same Dunsparce. So, very powerful, helps a lot against hand control, and honestly a good way to just stay in the game. It's also a good early game of just being a backup draw. For energy, we're running 9 Darks, pretty standard. At one point I was running 10, I bumped it down to 9. 9 feels good, so running 9 there. And then moving on to the trainers, we're running 4 Trekking Shoes. Easy way to just look at the top card. If it's a dark, you can discard it for Dark Patch or Sados. If it's an ancient card, you can discard it just to power up your damage. It's just generically always good. I've never had Trekking Shoes in my hand and wished that it wasn't there. I'm always like, this is great. And sometimes you can Trekking Shoes into Trekking Shoes to just go through your deck faster. We're running 2 Switch Cart. This is just a way to heal some damage if they end up not getting a return KO on the Roaring Moon. It also is a way to heal damage, just in other senses. If a baby Miraidon attacks, you can heal up to get you out of range of an amp you very much. It's also a switch card against Stellax, which is an interesting matchup because it really depends on if you get Radiant Greninja. If you don't see Radiant Greninja, you're fine in the Stellax match, but if you do, you need your switch cards. So we're running just 2, could possibly go to 1. I'm running 4 Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. 4 seems like a lot, and I kind of want to bump it down to 3, but having that Ancient card, it is more damage. It's the ability to make your Baby Roaring Moons 200 HP, which is a little harder for decks to deal with, weirdly enough. Running 4 of this is great, and being able to attach it just all over the place. If they knock out a Roaring Moon with a capsule, That's 2 more ancient cards on the discard pile for plus 20 damage on the next turn. We're running 3 Artisan. This gets our baby Roaring Moons, but it also gets the Dunsparces. So you can get a nice little cycle going because you draw 3, then shuffle. So you shuffle in the Dunsparce after the fact, then Artisan the baby right back. We're running 1 Super Rod. Just your generic if you have to discard something early that feels bad or you need to recycle something, you have the option now. Our ace spec of choice is Prime Catcher. This is a very aggressive deck, so it's designed to be going fast. You want to be taking prizes. Typically, you don't want to be in a game longer than a couple of turns with how fast this deck is designed to go. We're running 4 Nest Balls, just ways to get Radiant Greninja in the Roaring Moon EX, but also, in the event you have them, get more Dunsparce. We're running 1 Lost Vacuum. This is a card that I've been going back and forth on a lot recently, but in the Gardevoir matchup, with Drifloon specifically, you can use the Lost Vacuum, get rid of the tool to get a free prize off the Drifloon. They'll have to promote something else, in which case you just knock it out. It's good in the Stellax matchup, as they may promote something and start a penny cycle. Now you can get rid of a Big Charm or Hero's Cape. They're also just generically nice to have 1 of. I've wanted to find a way to get 2, but the card feels very unnecessary. Just 1 tech is nice enough. We're running 2 Boss's Orders. Counter Catcher really doesn't fit in this deck because you're typically going on the aggressive first, and you're doing it in such a way that the prizes favor you because you're using 1 prize attackers more often than not. So Boss's Orders, we're running 2. So with our 2 and 1 Prime Catcher, that's enough to get 3 EXs. Like Iron Crown. Get 3 Iron Crowns and that's the game. We're running 4 Professor Sawda's Vitality. Just attach energies from your discard pile to the Roaring Moons, draw 3 cards. It's also an Ancient, so it's definitely a staple. We're running 4 Dark Patch, also a staple. Get Darks back on our Dark Pokemon. We're running 4 Explorer's Guidance. Just look at the top 6, put 2 in your hand, discard the rest. It's an Ancient card, so it goes away. You're able to use this to put more Ancients and mass into the discard. You can put Dark Energies and mass into the discard. Generically good supporter. And we're running 4 Earthen Vessels. Discard a card, go get 2 energies. So, it being an Ancient, you can Earthen Vessel, discard another Earthen Vessel, go get 2 Darks, and now you're halfway there to one-shotting an Iron Crown. So, that is the deck. So if you end up giving this a try, there's a few modifications that I've thought about. If you would like to try it out, be my guest. If you play this deck, I hope it works for you. It got us to master, so hopefully it can get you guys to master. So until next time, bye everyone.